Yo, what's up guys? It's Sam and Marta checking in for you guys once again. It's getting close to the end of my time here in Colombia, and so since that is the case, I wanted to come back and talk to you guys about what I think are the best cities in Colombia. Okay, so before I get started, disclaimer, I haven't been to every single city in Colombia, but I've been living here for almost 6 months now, and so I feel like I have a nice general feel on what the best cities are here in Colombia, and so this is coming from personal experience and personal research. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. And so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to list the cities that I've been to, and so this actually won't take me too long. There's only been five cities that I've been in Colombia for an extended amount of time. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about each of those individually, and so if you don't want to hear my whole rant, I do have the timestamp for each city that I'm going to talk about, as well as the end when I talk about what my favorite city in Colombia is, or what I think the best city in Colombia is. Okay, so let's go and jump right into this. So let's start off with Leticia. Okay, this was the first city that I visited here in Colombia, and it's really a great city, and one that if you're going to Colombia and wanting to see the jungle in particular, that you should consider going to. And so what's nice about Leticia is, one, it's in the jungle, and being in the Amazon jungle, it's an experience unparalleled throughout really probably anywhere in the world, visiting the Amazon jungle. So that's one thing that really sticks out. It is really close to untouched areas or untouched parts of the jungle. So all you have to do is take a 5-minute walk and you'll be out walking in the jungle. And so it is a small town, which could be a good or bad thing depending on your personal perspective. In my experience, it seems like Leticia is kind of the city in the jungle, or the city in Colombia where there's the haves and the have-nots. Okay, so what I mean by that is there's a very fine line between the people who have money and the people who don't have money. And so there's a part of town where there's the people who don't have money where they live, and there's the nice houses where the people who do have money live. However, it seems like the people who do have money tend to outweigh the people who don't have money, meaning that the population in Leticia seems to be one that is predominantly one that has a good amount of money, at least about what I'm making a month, which is about $500 a month. Since they're only making around what I'm making, it is very cheap in Leticia, and that was one thing that really stuck out while I was there. During my time there, I would routinely go to a restaurant and pay 6 meal, which is about $2 for an entree every single day. That's something that I would consistently do unless I really wanted to make food. I stayed in a hostel for a month when I was there. I did have access to a kitchen, but in my experience in Leticia, the food is much cheaper if you just go out to a restaurant. So that's what I did while I was there. And then lastly, one final thing that is really nice about Leticia is the fact that it's really modernized comparative to other cities that I have been to in the jungle, and specifically the ones in Peru. Iquitos and Santa Rosa, I believe, is the name of the city in Peru that I came out of to get over here to Colombia. But it's really modernized in that there's a lot of different grocery stores that sell international products and Colombian products, and comparative to what you would find in Peru, there's a lot more access to products, international products. And so that's what I really mean by modernized, as well as the architecture of the buildings. And it just seems, from my personal experience, because I really don't want to generalize, that Leticia is a lot more modernized than other jungle cities that I went to, specifically in Peru. And Brazil, I guess I technically went to Brazil for one city, Tabatinga, which is right next to Iquito, or which is right next to Leticia. And so if you do go to Leticia, that's one thing that's really cool about Leticia, is that you can also go to Brazil in the same day, go to Tabatinga. And so that's it for Leticia. Next I want to talk to you guys about Bogota. So this is the second city that I went to here in Colombia. I discovered that if I'm in the jungle, that I have to take an airplane out of the jungle unless I wanted to go deeper to Brazil. I didn't decide to do that. I decided to come up north further into Colombia, and so I decided to take an airplane up to Bogota. That was the second city that I went to. And so I didn't really want to stay here for too long. I have a bias against traveling to the really big cities, specifically the ones here in South America. I just had not really good experiences with the people, and in my personal experience, I tend to find that I get treated a lot better in the smaller cities like Santa Marta here in Colombia. And so I did like Bogota. And specifically, there's three things that really stick out for Bogota. And the first one is the street art. Everywhere you go in Bogota, there's this really cool street art, and in America, obviously they call it graffiti. But the difference is that the street art in Bogota, it's really professional. So I'm going to leave some pictures around here to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Really awesome street art in Bogota. And so that's one thing that really sticks out. Anywhere you really go in Bogota, there's this really cool street art for you to see. And that's not all. It's obviously the capital. And so you can go and see the big political capital buildings, all of that stuff, if you're interested in that. However, for myself personally, one thing that I went and saw a lot of were the museums. And so they do have a pretty good collection of museums in Bogota. And so if that's something that you're interested in, Bogota is the city that you want to go here in Colombia. But all in all, I'll just go ahead and give you guys a disclaimer. Bogota is not my favorite city in Colombia. Okay, it's actually probably my least favorite on the list of the places that I went to. Okay, but that's that. And that's it for Bogota. Now let's talk about Medellin. Okay, and so first things first, I don't even know how to pronounce this city, okay, because I've seen natives who pronounce Medellin, and I've also seen natives who say Medellin. So Medellin, I think they're both the same thing. Really, Medellin, same thing. I like Medellin because I like the pronunciation of that better. And so, for example, getting myself off on a tangent here, but the Spanish word allá, there's also Spanish speakers who will say allá. And so maybe it's just the pronunciation of the two L's put together that sometimes Spanish speakers will use a J sound. I don't know for sure. But anyways, what I like most about Medellin is the natural scenery of the city. There's a river that runs through the city, and they have a really cool median which has lots of green trees and plants and crops, and a lot of people walk down this part of town with their dogs, or just if they're strolling through the city. It's a popular place for people to go. But that's not it. There's also lots of public parks and public green areas, I guess we could call them, in Medellin, just basically really anywhere you go. And one thing that's really awesome about these places is that there is free Wi-Fi. And so if you do want to see what one of these parks in Medellin looks like, just go check out this video right over here. That's it for Medellin. The next place that I went to after Medellin was this place called Cartagena. And Cartagena is right up on the Caribbean coast. It was about a 12-hour drive, I'm not remembering exactly, from Medellin over to Cartagena. Initially, I had planned that I wanted to go to Cali. Cali's the city in Colombia, but I did hear some bad things about Cali. Not that I really would let the propaganda get to me, but I decided I didn't want to go to Cali and decided to go to Cartagena instead. Anyways, about Cartagena, one thing that's really awesome about Cartagena is the culture of the area. And so once you get there, you'll notice that there's a Centro Histórico, which I did make a video for, which is also right over in here. So if you want to see what the Centro Histórico looks like, click on the video over there. Okay, but that's one thing that's really nice about walking around the city, is experiencing the old Caribbean, almost pirate-like culture. Okay, so you can walk around a fortress which used to house Spanish settlers after they conquered the area. You can also tour museums where it talks about these sort of things. And you can really see some of the impacts of the history in the people today, the people that you see walking around on the streets today. And another thing that's really awesome about Cartagena are the beaches. Okay, within reason, because this is a pretty expensive town. I just jumped ahead. That's my third point that I was going to say for Cartagena, is that it's expensive. But yes, there are some really awesome beaches in Cartagena. And what they to know is that they are public. You can just walk up. You don't have to pay to go see the beach, just like you wouldn't in America for the most part. But there are some shelters that you can buy. And so in Cartagena, you can spend about $5 mil and you can rent out a shelter by the beach for an entire day. So pretty nice deal there, as well as gives you a nice little place to relax for the day. So if you're looking for beaches, Cartagena is a great place to go. But that's it for Cartagena. Let's go ahead and now jump on to Santa Marta, where I currently am. I have some things that I really like about Santa Marta. The first one is the beach. Okay, this is the best beach that I have seen here in South America. Okay, the scenery of the beach, the island in the background, and the fact that the water is still really nice blue and crystal, well, not crystal clear, but it's really nice and blue. It actually looks like an ocean, and there's lots of different vendors walking around the beaches, and you can rent out the shelters for $5 just like you could in Cartagena and Santa Marta. And I really just think, in my opinion, that the beach in Santa Marta is way better than the one in Cartagena, and probably, well, I hate to generalize because I haven't been to every single beach here in Colombia, but I think it's the best beach here in Colombia as well. And I think I said it's also the best beach in South America, but also the best beach in Colombia, okay? But a few things that are really nice about Santa Marta is, one, the small town feel of the city over here, okay? So what I mean by that, if you're walking around the streets of Medellin or Bogota, you get a lot of the quote-unquote big city feel where people don't really talk to each other, they don't really look each other in the eye, they don't really even acknowledge each other when you're walking down the street and seeing each other. Pretty similar to what you might experience in America. However, when you go to these nice small towns, the people are a lot more, shall I say, accepting of extranjeros or foreigners, and the people, just in my experience, are a lot nicer in these small towns, and so that's what I mean by the small town feel. It's something that's really nice. One thing I guess that can get kind of annoying is that you do have to see the same people every single day, but at the end of the day, if you're like me and you're only wanting to be here for a month, 2 months, well, then you'll get used to that, and it's really not that bad, because also, at the end of the day, the people also are very nice. And one thing in particular that's really cool about the people here in Santa Marta, and not just Santa Marta, but other small towns in Peru and in Leticia in Colombia as well, is the fact that there's this nice carefree culture. Okay, so what I mean by that, in my experience in America, there's a lot of people who have to work 8 hours or over 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week at least. And then maybe you'll get your nice little paycheck at the month, which will maybe be enough to pay for your bills. Well, here in Santa Marta, for people to just get by, typically a typical work day for the people here who work on the streets is not all day. It's in fact more on the lines of 3 to 4 hours. And so if you are looking for a place where you can work on the streets or get a job here in Colombia and only work a few hours, 4 hours a day, something like that, and still be able to support yourself, Santa Marta is a great place to consider going. Okay, and then also the last thing that I really like about Santa Marta is the prices, okay? And so I'm not going to go on a big old rant on the prices here in Santa Marta because I already did that. And so if you are more interested in that, check out my cost of living in Santa Marta. However, as promised, I do want to now share with you guys what I think is the best city in Colombia. Okay, so disclaimer, I haven't been to Cali, and I have heard some people who would say that Cali is their favorite city in Colombia. However, in my personal experience, I would say that Medellin is the best city in Colombia, okay? And a couple reasons why. These are actually things that I didn't talk about when I was talking about Medellin. Is first of all, you can actually drink the tap water in Medellin. It is fluoridated, I believe, so that's another issue that if you are worried about fluoride in your water that you could think about and tackle on your own. However, the tap water is safe to drink, okay, unlike here in Santa Marta where I'd have to boil the tap water every day if I want to drink it. That's not the case in Medellin. Also, the public transportation in Medellin is something that is absolutely nuts, okay? So, since the city is next to a mountain, they have these things called metro cables. And so I wish I actually did a video where I recorded myself on the metro cable, but you could actually, for less than $1, take basically like a ski lift across the city and across the mountains. And it's something that a lot of locals do on a daily basis as they're doing their daily commutes to work. Or I even met a lady who goes to the grocery store. When she goes to the grocery store, she takes the metro cable. What a cool way to travel, right? And then lastly, if you are into it, there's lots of nightlife options in Medellin. It's something that's really popular in the city, and honestly, if you're looking to come to Colombia to party, look no further than Medellin, because that is the party city here in Colombia, okay? And however, yes, there are people who say that's also Cali. So, long story short, my personal favorite, despite my ignorance of never going to Cali, my favorite city here in Colombia is Medellin. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you're having a great day. Peace.